For those who watch this channel on a regular basis, you will no doubt remember the tragedy that took place in Nashville, Tennessee in late March of this year, when a shooter walked into a local Christian school and gunned down 3 children and 3 adults. The shooter identified themselves as trans. They were born a biological female, and they then identified as a biological male. Nashville police entered the school and quickly subdued the assailant, shooting them dead. Order was restored, but not before a horrible loss of life. In their investigations, the Nashville Police Department found writings by the shooter, which gave some insight into what they were thinking, what they were feeling, etc. But at the time, Nashville police made it very clear that they had no intention of releasing the Manifesto, as they called it. Well, information has broken late this afternoon. We have an update on all of that, so hang on. We're going to get into everything in just 1 second. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your front porch conservative. Step on up to my electronic front porch and let's talk. Now, I had mentioned a moment ago that the police in Nashville and the FBI had made it very clear they had no intention at all of releasing any or all of the shooter's manifesto from the Nashville Christian school shooting that took place in late March. Well, a lot of people have been trying to bring as much pressure as they possibly can to make that happen, but there's been resistance. In my previous videos, I was willing to give the police department a certain amount of slack on this. On the grounds, it's an open investigation, and what would happen if you released information that either compromises the current investigation you've got or opens the door for some copycat or future tragedy to happen because you're not sure if this shooter had accomplices or if they were acting alone. There are those on the other side of the argument, however, that said release it, let's have a full and open discussion, which I agree with. I want a full and open discussion, but I don't want to do it in such a way that jeopardizes an investigation. Now, pressure has been brought, and apparently there has now been a change. Take a look at this. From a local TV station, WZ TV, and on their webpage, Nashville Mass Shooters Manifesto being reviewed for public release. Police anticipate releasing the manifesto left behind by the Nashville mass shooter to the public. The Metro Nashville Police Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigations have had the writings in their possession as part of the investigation into the murder of 3 9-year-old students and 3 staff members at Covenant School on March 27th. Some Tennessee lawmakers, such as U.S. Representative Tim Burchett, have been calling on law enforcement to release the writings with the hope that they will provide answers for victims and a grieving city. Although the FBI have been processing the information, they now have moved closer to the releasing of the writings to the public. Quote, the investigation has advanced to the point that writings from the Covenant shooter are now being reviewed for public release. Metro Nashville Police Department's Public Information Office told WZ-TV that process is underway and will take a little bit of time. Despite the support for releasing the materials, others believe they should not be released unless the information is helpful. Metro Nashville Councilman Courtney Johnston previously spoke with WZ-TV, stating that while she is not involved in the investigation, law enforcement personnel she has spoken with say the manifesto, quote, keeps them up at night, and the Covenant shooting was a small sliver of what the shooter wanted to do. Johnston clarified she is not part of the investigation in any way and has no control over what the police and the FBI choose to do with the writings. She believes it can be helpful, then it should be released, but if it will cause harm, she then questions the value of releasing such materials. Now, let's talk about this for a second. I want the materials released. I don't want the investigation jeopardized. And apparently it's now coming to the point where the Metro Nashville Police Department and the FBI believe they can release these writings and not jeopardize what they have done to this point or what they may yet do in the future. I don't like the idea of how that statement was worded when the police department said it's reached the point where the process is underway and it will take a little while. Well, what do you define as a little while? With all due respect to law enforcement, both local and federal, you've had this stuff for over a month. What are we going to do? A little while is what? 2 more months? 3 more months? We need a definitive, you're going to release it on this date. That holds you accountable, and it gives the public an expectation of what they should be looking for. Now, it's going to be released. I am of the school of thought, and I've said it in previous videos, if we are going to begin the process of trying to heal as a community and as a nation, we need an open and honest discussion about what happened. We need to know what was going on in the shooter's mind. There's a lot of questions related to this that have not been answered and need to be. From what we understand, and I say we, everyone who's looking at the news on this, is that the shooter was being treated by a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Well, if so, what were they being treated for? Were they being prescribed medications? Did these medications, if they were being prescribed, alter the person's mood such that it would have given them the state of mind to do harm to others? We don't know. These are things I think are legitimate questions that ought to be out in the public discussion. But we can't have that discussion until we can at least see some or all of the writings that this person had. And as far as I'm concerned, if it doesn't jeopardize the investigation by the police, release everything. Unredacted, no changes, no nothing. Put it all out there. Now, I've got another article I'm going to show you real quick that will give you an idea of just how deep this stuff went for the shooter. So take a look at this. This comes from Fox News. Nashville police to release Manifesto in Christian school shooting massacre. And we read a little bit further into this article. The shooter barged into the Christian elementary school on March 27th armed with 3 guns in what police called a calculated and planned attack outlined in a document recovered from the killer's car. Now, there's a little more that goes into this. The shooter slept with journals on other school shootings under her bed in her parents' house. Police seized the journals and a trove of documents and electronic devices, court filings reveal. Among them were hand-drawn maps of the school. The shooter left behind a suicide note on a desk under one of several laptops police recovered near a list of passwords in the bedroom. Police also found 2 memoirs, notes on firearm training, a 12-gauge Mossberg 590 and a 20-gauge Winchester Model 1200. The barrel of one of these guns had been sawed off. Metro Police Chief John Drake said the investigators had not immediately determined a motive, but they believed that the shooter, a former student, had specifically targeted the Christian school and its affiliated church. Ladies and gentlemen, we're dealing with a person here who was deeply, deeply troubled. And there has been all kinds of discussions been going on, not just since this happened, but for some years now, about, are we as a society, over-medicating, over-diagnosing, over any number of different things? Well, here we have a clear set of documents written by the shooter, which would give us some, perhaps maybe all that we need, ability to understand what they were thinking, what they were feeling, what was going on in their mind. This needs to be released to the public. And for those who are the survivors, in other words, the family members of those who were killed, no one wants to see you endure any more pain than what you already feel. And calls for the release of these documents are not meant to make anything worse. I think I can say it safely for a lot of people that are asking for this information to be released. We simply want to know what was going on inside this person's mind, and in learning something about that, can we possibly help ourselves as a society and as a nation, maybe, to not see this happen again? Can I absolutely guarantee that it won't if these documents are released? Of course not. But we've got to have an honest discussion. We've got to have honest information. Not redacted, not trying to hide, not trying to protect in the sense that, oh, we can't look at it because it's too dangerous. No, let's face this head on. Let us know what was going on in this person's mind. So it looks like the documents are going to be released. It's my hope that they're going to be released soon, very soon. But anyway, had done some videos on this in the past. Wanted to bring you this updated information. So as always, please do me some favors as we get ready to wrap it up. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, please do so. If you are a subscriber, please hit the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up on the video. Please share the video around. My name is Brian Trippett. I'm your Front Porch Conservative, and I'll see you next time.